Hi guys, I'm the Book Geek and I'm back with my April book wrap up. Now, in case you're not familiar, my wrap ups entail the TBR, the books that I planned to read for that particular month, the books that I actually read, including the number of pages read and things of that nature, and also the new to me movies and TV shows that I watched for that month with their ratings as well, and my book haul and merch haul. It's a whole big mess of stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. My TBR for the month of April included, and I'm going to insert the books. Some of the books are going to be inserted, but my TBR for the month of April included Into the Wild, Saving April, Ateka, Rise of the Imamba. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I did spin my TBR wheel for the month of April. I spun it twice, and the two categories that it landed on was to pick a book set in a state, and the second category that it landed on was to read a book with the month in the title. And so since we were in the month of April when I spun that wheel, I looked up several different books that had the word April in the title, and I chose a book called Saving April. And for the book that was set in a state, I chose the state Alaska. So I went to the library and picked up Into the Wild. I only managed to get through one book for the month of April, so I only read one book. I read approximately 303 pages, and I read from one female author. And the genre of the one book that I read was a romance slash young adult slash contemporary slash LGBT book, and I rated this book 5 stars. And that book is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I absolutely love this book. I love the movie as well. In this book, we have a gay character, a young man who hasn't come out of the closet yet. He's been secretly messaging back and forth with someone online who's also gay. They haven't been using their real names, but they've been flirting with one another back and forth, and it is so stinking cute trying to figure out who this other person is that Simon is communicating with online. But he makes the mistake of leaving his, I think it was his email or instant message or something like that. He leaves the mistake of leaving his correspondence open, and another student sees the messages that he's been sending back and forth to this other guy. And he basically starts to blackmail him, force him to do things that he doesn't want to do. Otherwise, he's going to out him. So it was a very cute romance book about, a heavy topic of someone who is gay coming out of the closet and everybody in their business. I really, really loved this book. I thought it was fantastic. My book Into the Wild was a DNF. It's hard for me to read, those type of biographical type of stories. It takes me longer to read them, and when it was time for me to bring it back to the library, I just didn't bother to renew the book. I just brought it back even though I wasn't finished with it. So maybe later on in the future I might attempt to read that book again. So Into the Wild was a DNF. I just didn't manage to get to Saving April, and I did not manage to get to Ateka, Rise of the Imamba. I didn't manage to get to that one either. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I had another book on my TBR, and that was Speaking of Summer by Kaliesha Buchanan. The publishers actually sent me this book. I was just on Instagram and saw that this new book was going to be released, and I wrote how excited I was to read it, and they actually contacted me and sent me the book, and then I started it but didn't finish it, and I haven't finished it now either, and it's December. I still haven't finished the book. So that's something that I'm definitely going to need to get to for the new year. But anyway, so the books on my TBR for the month of April were actually Into the Wild, Saving April, Ateca, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and Speaking of Summer. And I only managed to read one book, which was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. That's so sad. This was a tough reading year for me. I just started going back to school, so at this point I wasn't in school. I didn't end up going back to school until the end of summer, beginning of fall, but still it was a tough reading year for me. Okay, so now and I already explained I had spun the wheel twice during the month of April. So now moving on to the movies and TV shows that I watched that were new to me. So, me and my family, we watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you don't know, me and my two sons, we have a family movie night once a week. We try to do it Fridays, every Friday, but sometimes we can't get to it on Friday, so we'll do it either on a Saturday or a Sunday. But we always have a family movie night, unless, of course, we have some other thing going on, or they're on punishment or something. They did something to not earn family movie night. But for the most part, we always have it. And I remember in this particular month, we did watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is an animated action film, family film. 5 stars. I freaking loved this movie. My kids they were delighted and to see this type of representation. They don't realize it, but I could tell that they were enjoying seeing someone who looked like them, listened to music like them, talked like them, dressed like them, and in a superhero role. Representation is so very important, even in animated films. We loved this movie. The soundtrack for this movie was fantastic. The graphics and the animation, and it was just stunning to watch. Really, really enjoyed it. And I think they're going to be making another one. I'm not too sure. I thought I heard something like that. But if so, you best believe me and my boys will be there watching that movie in theaters or buying it as soon as it come out to watch it. I also, my family, we also went to the movies to go see Dumbo. This is a family movie, a drama. It is based on the Disney animated film by the same name. I gave this one 4 stars. There was some controversy surrounding this film. I believe Tim Burton had a hand in this film, but don't quote me on that. And there seems to be some controversy around some of his films, especially the way that he portrays black people in his films. So I know that there was some controversy on the way that he portrayed some black people in this live action Dumbo film. But for the most part, we really enjoyed it. There were some changes that they made to the live action film from the animated version that I didn't particularly care for. So that's why I only gave it 4 stars. But it was an enjoyable movie. I also watched Us. This is a horror film directed by Jordan Peele. I believe he also wrote this one. I gave this one 4 stars. I actually went to the movies by myself to see this one in the middle of the day. I tend to do that every once in a while. If I'm bored and I don't have the kids for the day or whatever, I got the day off or whatever, I'll just go to the movies. I have no life. I'll just take myself on a date to the movies. But anyway, this was a real trippy one. It's about people in this world have like copies or shadows of themselves, and these copies or shadows of these other people that live on the surface were living underground below us. And Lupita's character, when she was a little girl, she actually ended up coming face to face with her other half. And I'm not going to spoil it, but she ends up coming face to face with her other half. And years later, they get out and they confront each other once again. And all the other shadows or other halves of all these other people, they end up escaping from underground and going after they're going after the people that look like them. All the clones are going after the other ones who look like them, and they're trying to tether themselves from their other halves. It was a very trippy movie. I quite enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I also watched Equalizer Part 2. This is an action drama starring Denzel Washington. I mean, if you've seen the first one, you can pretty much figure out what the second one is about. Somebody did some shit, Denzel's going after them. And I gave this one 4 stars. I especially loved the scene when he went to go get the character named Miles, a young black boy. He went to go get him from the projects, from these, out of the home of these gangsters that he was hanging with and trying to be like. He went and got him. I love that scene, that little speech he gave him when they got out into the hallway and he had the gun to his head. And he just really just like, this is why black fathers are so important, and fathers in general are so important to their sons' lives. Like the knowledge that he spit to him, and just those few minutes of that scene were so freaking powerful. And that is why Denzel is one of the best actors. He really makes you feel it and believe it. That scene was so powerful. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, but you can go YouTube that scene. Magnificent. And if you can relate to it, it'll be even more powerful for you. But anyway, moving right along. Also, one of our family movie night movies that we watched was A Wrinkle in Time. This is a family movie, fantasy sci-fi movie. I gave this one 3 stars. I didn't particularly care for this one, but I didn't particularly hate it either. So I'm right in the middle. I gave it 3 stars. It is based off of the book of the same name. I also watched Breaking In, starring Gabrielle Union. This is a suspense/thriller movie. I also gave this one 3 stars. Gabrielle Union is playing a mom in this movie. She has 2 children, I believe, and they're traveling to her father's house. He's just passed away, and I guess they're like clearing out the house, but these people break in while they're there, and they're looking for something that her father had or something like that. And it's basically, this mother's fight to protect her children, and just how far a mother would go to protect her children. So it was a pretty good movie, decent movie, 3 stars. I also watched The Meg. This is an action thriller sci-fi movie. I gave this one 3 stars. This one is starring, oh my God, what is that dude's name? Jason Statham, is that his name? I love him so much. How did I forget his name? Jason Statham, I believe that's his name, from the Transporter Guy. You know who I'm talking about. But anyway, he's working with this team of marine people or whatever they do. I don't know their title, but they're in the ocean. They work with marine life and all that other stuff. And they discover a megalodon. And there you go. The damn thing gets out, starts eating people and attacking people. I also watched Game Night. This movie is starring, I believe, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. I know Rachel McAdams is in it. I can't remember the guy. I think it's Jason Bateman. But anyway, it's an action comedy movie. I gave this one 3 stars. Basically, these friends get together for game night, and there's always this one particular couple that usually hosts game night. But this night, the couple who usually hosts the game night, the brother of that guy who's part of the couple who usually hosts the game night, the brother decides he's gonna host the game night tonight, and he hires these people to come and basically attack and make it seem like it's a different sort of game night, basically. But then it really ends up becoming some dangerous things that he didn't anticipate. The thing that he had planned was just a joke, but then these real people come and attack them, and the people are sitting here during the game night because they think it's part of the game, and they're going along with all the stuff because they think it's part of the game night. It was really, really funny. Also watched the movie Tag. This is a comedy movie. I gave this one 4 stars. This movie was freaking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. I love this movie. So basically, this group of friends have been playing the same game of tag for years, and it was just they're trying to get the one friend that is undefeated. They're trying to tag this one friend that is undefeated, but then it gets really, really heavy towards the end when we find out that one of the friends is sick. So it was a very fantastic movie. Now, moving on to the books I hauled for the month of April. I'm going to insert the pictures because pulling them all out would just be too much. So I'm just going to insert the pictures. I'm not going to talk too much about them. I may talk about one or two, but that's about it. And so for the month of April, I purchased The Favorite Sister. Also purchased Right Behind You, My Husband's Wife, Since We Fell, Bring Me Back, Swing Time by Zadie Smith, The Return, How to Hang a Witch, The 100 Rebellion, Saving April, The Other Side, and A Game of Thrones. Now, some of these books I said purchased in the beginning, but some of these books were actually given to me. I'm going to show you the merch that I purchased. So I'm going to list the shops down below if you would like to purchase any of these bookmarks or check out the person's website or whatever. But I have this really cool Frankenfurter paper doll bookmark. And I got this bookmark from a shop called A Stranger Dream. I'll link her information down below. She can be found on Instagram. And she makes the best damn bookmarks, I swear. I'm going to insert pictures also so you can see this more clearly. This is a Crypt Keeper bookmark. I actually gave her the idea for this one. And it says, care to join me for a little fright seeing? I love Tales from the Crypt. I actually still watch the show whenever I get the chance. And I got this really cool Night King versus Rick t-shirt. I had purchased it right before the Game of Thrones season 8 season premiere, and I have wore it in some of my reaction videos, which you can find on my channel. I reacted to the entire season. I absolutely loved Game of Thrones. I was very disappointed with season 8, however, but I'm going to insert a picture of me wearing the Night King versus Rick shirt, and Rick comes from The Walking Dead, so it's a Walking Dead and Game of Thrones mashup shirt. Very, very cool. It's a picture of Rick shooting the Night King. But anyway, that is it for my April book wrap up. All the links will be down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you know each time I post a video.